Battered by life, Christ knew her well and called her by name. It's a little poem about Mary Magdalen. It's quite fascinating how when we realize how much we need God, God draws close to us. And we come to understand that God knows us by name. I wonder, have you ever realized how much you need God? See, Mary of Magdala realized it quite early on. And that realization changed her life. In some traditions about her, she was indeed battered by life. Life hurt her, caused her great suffering. But it didn't pull her away from God. It encouraged her to draw closer to God through his Son. And then it was that she came to understand the power of God's forgiveness, the power of God's healing. There's something there for all of us. When we find within ourselves the honesty to admit how much we need God, how crucial God is to our very being, then we lose the ego that pretends we're doing God a favor by paying God a bit of attention now and again. Because that is the human condition. The human condition imagines that we're doing God a great favor by every so often turning up in church and throwing him the odd pound now and again. Whereas in fact, our very being depends on God. After all, God was instrumental in your conception, and when God is ready, you will die. So our very life is bound up in God. And if you have suffered, and if you have been through great trials, as most of us do, we mightn't admit it, but most of us do, you have the opportunity to realize God's goodness. God's ability to bring you back together again when you've fallen apart. God's ability to be patient with you while you find your way again. God's power through his Son to forgive what to you seems impossible to get over. God's ability to heal what seems completely beyond you. How can I ever get over this? God can help it happen within you. And that is why someone like Mary of Magdala is a tremendous help to us. Because how she has been presented to us over the centuries is as a woman who had tremendous tribulation in her life. Someone from whom the Lord cast out 7 demons. Someone whose reputation the Lord restored. Someone who found a new life when she had been totally rejected by staying close to Christ. And then she got this extraordinary gift of being the one who is able to tell the apostles that the Lord had risen. And that almost beyond imagining blessing of being the first person to whom the risen Lord spoke. Extraordinary thing. If you think about what we tend to think of when it comes to Mary Magdalene, which could be summed up in that phrase, a very unkind phrase, she was no better than she ought to be. That was the reputation. Whether or not it's true, we're not sure. Scholars debate this. But that was the cultural understanding of her. And yet, Jesus chose her to be the first person whom he addressed, the first person he called into risen life. Now there's hope there for everyone, that however broken life might have made us, Jesus knows us, can restore us, can bring us healing and hope. But the truth is, we have to acknowledge the Magdalene in us. We have to realize how much we need God and get over pretending that God's so lucky to have us. And when we honestly realize how our brokenness can be healed by God, how our emotional pain can be brought to wholeness by God, and then we can be brought back together again. Yes, differently, but with renewed purpose, just as we see in Mary Magdalene. There is great hope for us all. And as the post-communion prayer of this Mass acknowledges, we who receive this grace through the sacred mysteries are to be signs of that possibility wherever we are. So, how can you be a sign of healing? So important. If you receive God's forgiveness, if you receive God's healing, if you understand that God can rebuild you inside, how are you going to live that for other people? How can you be someone who can be a healing presence in your next conversation? How can you be a forgiving presence in your next conversation? And that, you see, spreads the hope that the Magdalene experienced. Because you know perfectly well We do not live in a Christian culture. Let's be honest, most of our churches are not imbued with Christian attitudes at every turn. It's up to us to show that in how we interact in church with one another. So how are you going to talk at the coffee? Going to do a bit of character assassination? Or are you going to actually be signs of healing and hope by what comes out of your mouth? That's how it starts, you see. And the reason you do it is because you know that Jesus has forgiven you, and you don't have to keep this going. Jesus is bringing your brokenness together so you can be a whole person in your next conversation. You don't have to go on dealing and joining in the cracks. And then you see the people listening, well, he's a bit funny. Yeah, but actually he's showing you a little bit of what it means to be changed by Christ, just as Mary of Magdalen was changed by Christ. And that's how the world is changed. That's how your friends learn new ways. And you might be the only person who will do that for them. That's how your family can be a little bit different. And yeah, they might think you're a bit weird, they might think you're no fun, but which would you rather be? Would you rather be the one who just joins in the same old nonsense and tears people down, or the one who is the presence of Christ building each other up? And that's what Mary of Magdalen learned, and that's how she inspires us today. You see, she knew how desperately she needed the healing of Christ for her life to have a future. I know that. I know that's true. And so do you. All God is asking you to do today is to accept it and let it come alive in you, so that wherever you are, it's just there. It's just part of you. And you spread that hope and healing, no matter what's going on. Mary Magdalen is a sign of great hope for us all. Let her inspire you. Let the healing and the wholeness that she experienced become part of you. And you will make